everyone and namaste. This is me Sarda Danuk, and today, as we all know, that our world is facing a pandemic situation all over the world, and so because of that we are having lockdown and we are not being able to go to school or go out or anywhere. So though we cannot go out, but like we can do online teaching. It would be like beneficial for our students and for other people out there, those who are staying at home and going through online. So like today I'm going to present you about one topic that is very useful for us, and the topic that is disease. So basically, before getting into the topic that is disease, we need to know about what is health. Health, according to WHO, that is World Health Organization, it has given one definition, that is, health is a complete state of mental, physical or social well-being, and not merely the absence of any disease, discomfort or infirmity. Which means, to be healthy we need to be mentally alert, physically fit, and we need to be socially well-being, and we should not feel any discomfort. There should not be any disease condition, any uneasiness to call ourselves or any individual a healthy person, or that state can be known as healthy or health. And now let's move towards our today's topic, that is disease. So disease, it is a pathological condition, that it is a disorder that disturb our any particular organ, any system or any whole body part. So basically there are two types of diseases, and they are communicable disease and non-communicable disease. Communicable disease, which means it can be easily transmitted from one person to another via sharing the same food, clothes or stuffs, or through air droplets, or having personal contacts like hugging, kissing, etc. For example, there are many communicable diseases like fever, common cold, etc. But nowadays, as we all know, that our world is having pandemic disease condition, that is COVID-19. It is also known as coronavirus. So that is also an example of communicable disease. And non-communicable disease, which means that is not easily transmitted from one person to another, sharing the same stuffs, clothes, or having food item in the same plate, etc. But it can be transmitted from their parents to their offspring through heredity or lifestyle, or it can be also a major cause of having malnutrition or imbalance of hormones in our body of an individual. So how can we stay healthy ourselves, or how can we maintain our own personal health? Is like we can have our own day-to-day activities. For example, we can have daily exercise, we can have balanced diet, or we can have like proper rest or sleep. We can keep ourselves or our surroundings neat and clean. We need to have frequent hand washing, and although we can use sanitizer as well, and we need to have healthy food items. So basically, by following all these healthy habits, we can be away from this condition. So I hope today's topic, it will be useful and fruitful for you all. Thank you.
Are a group of tiny organisms, including bacteria, viruses, protists, and fungi. Although most of them don't cause us any problem, a small group of them do, and we call these pathogens, which we can define as microorganisms that can cause disease. As the pathogens can spread from person to person, the diseases they cause are known as communicable or infectious diseases, and they affect both animals and plants. Over the next 3 videos, we're going to take a closer look at each of these 4 types of pathogens, and some examples of the particular diseases that they can cause. For now though, we're going to focus on how these pathogens spread from person to person, and what measures we can take to reduce this spread. One way they spread is through the air. For example, many airborne pathogens, like the influenza virus or measles virus, can be carried in tiny droplets that we expel when we cough or sneeze. Another route is through contaminated food and water. For example, cholera is a bacterial disease, which is spread by drinking water that's been contaminated by the diarrhea of somebody already suffering from cholera. Meanwhile, Salmonella bacteria is spread by eating contaminated food, particularly chickens. Some pathogens have to be spread by direct contact though. For example, athlete's foot, which is a fungal infection that can make the skin on your feet flake off, is often spread by walking barefoot on contaminated surfaces, such as in public swimming pools. Now, the only thing better than treating a disease is to stop it from spreading in the first place. The common sense way to do this is by being generally hygienic, such as washing your hands after you've used the bathroom and before preparing foods, and by cleaning cooking items such as knives and chopping boards. In some cases, we can kill the vectors of the pathogens, which are the organisms that transport the pathogen, such as mosquitoes, which transport the malaria protists. In the case of insect vectors, the easiest way to do this is by spreading insecticides, which are chemicals which kill insects. The best way to prevent a pathogen from spreading, though, is just to vaccinate everybody. Because if people can't catch the disease in the first place, then they can't pass it on to anyone. If all of these methods fail though, and somebody does catch a disease, then what we can do is isolate or quarantine them. We generally tend to do this only if it's a really serious disease that could really harm other people if they get infected. So just to quickly recap, pathogens can be spread in 3 ways: through the air, through contaminated food or water, or through direct contact. And to reduce this spread, we can do 4 things. We can be hygienic, we can kill the vectors, we can vaccinate people, or we can quarantine people.
Cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, cancer, and chronic respiratory diseases are known as non-communicable diseases. In recent years, these diseases have increased as a result of population aging, urbanization, globalization, and changes in lifestyles, and they've become the great epidemic of our age. Non-communicable diseases can largely be prevented by adopting a healthy lifestyle, but to do so requires more than simply personal determination. For example, when wholesome food is more expensive and less available than junk food. When physical activity is a challenge because the parks and recreation areas are not safe or properly equipped. Or when it's hard to quit smoking or drinking because advertising of these products seems to be all around us. That is why laws and regulations are needed to make the healthy choice the easiest choice. Without these laws and regulations, more and more people will develop a non-communicable disease and need lifelong treatment that could ruin them financially. But there's still time to stop this epidemic from growing, and some countries in the Americas have already taken action by, for example, reformulating processed foods to make them healthier, informing consumers about the nutrition content of packaged foods, making more fresh foods available, regulating the sale of junk food in schools, as well as providing free drinking water, increasing taxes on tobacco, alcohol, and sugar-sweetened beverages, facilitating access to quit smoking programs, banning tobacco use in enclosed public spaces, and limiting the advertising of cigarettes, alcohol, and junk food. Creating opportunities for physical activity, including creating recreational bicycle paths and promoting the use of public transportation. Governments should ensure access to health services for its population, including access to early detection of disease, diagnosis, medicines, and treatment provided without discrimination and without undue financial hardship. People should be provided with information and support that empowers them to manage their own health, giving them greater control over their health and contributing to the health of their families. This way, all together, we can stop this terrible epidemic from getting worse and enjoy longer, more productive lives. Healthy public policies and healthy lifestyles are the prescription to prevent and control non-communicable disease.